Welcome to the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast with host Jacqueline Burke. On today's special feature, we will be discussing menopause with our special guest, Ancion.
Welcome to the podcast, Ashley. How are you today?
Good, and yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to talk about menopause. And I'm so grateful you're here because it's important for people to understand that it doesn't matter really, menopause just doesn't happen to a woman in their 50s.
Yes.
It can
Yeah.
happen to women in their 30s like yourself.
Yeah. I actually even have a friend, like she's just in her 40s and she's starting like the pre-menopause and starting into it. And
Yeah.
with my journey of it, with it being like medically induced, it was just like wham bam, here we go.
Yeah. Can you explain your adventure, I'll call it, in that? And you're having it happen for you so young, but because of a medically induced situation?
Yeah, for sure. So I struggled with like my period since I was a young girl. Like I remember my grandma telling me, she was like, the women in our family, like we definitely struggle with periods, like they're heavy and the
Yeah.
cramps and the issues. And yeah, it was definitely for real. As I got older, the
Yeah.
symptoms got worse and worse, and like it was affecting my life and my job, like getting dizzy at jobs where
Oh,
ended up in the
yeah.
hospital with some cysts, and like between all of that it just wasn't working, and I had dermatoid cysts.
Oh my goodness.
They will always constantly come back, and they have to be surgically removed. They don't just go away on their own.
Okay.
So like, and there's cancer in the family, so my thing with like having a full hysterectomy was it canceled out getting that cancer that runs in the family, having like a surgery down the line with those cysts, because I'm big on like I don't want to go through surgeries when I'm older because it just
Yeah.
takes us longer to recoup and all that,
Yeah.
right? So I was trying to cancel all that all in one. So that was my decision, and I actually had to sign a form
Oh,
to take out my ovaries because like for 4 years it was like we're taking it all out, and then the day of surgery they were like, well, I'm not taking out your ovaries, you're too young. And I was like, wait a second, we've been talking about this for 4 years, this is happening. So I did have to sign a form, being I was so young
mhm.
and taking out everything, that I was aware of what was about to happen and the risks and stuff being so young.
Yeah.
So taking out everything, like I've went into menopause like just instant. It wasn't a gradual, like we're working in like pre-menopause, menopause. It was just instant menopause. So
Wow.
that's been interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a total shock to your system.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Wow.
just complete instant. Like, and it was weird because like at first I was like, well, I'm feeling pretty good. Like the first month after surgery, I was like, well, I'm feeling pretty good. This isn't too bad. And then it was just like after that month, things started happening, and it was like, oh, okay.
So what was one of the first symptoms? I'm curious because of, having it come on so strong for you.
My
So,
very first symptoms were like the hot flashes.
um,
It was like proud, strong, here we go, like dripping wet at nighttime. Like I could just like take my hand and like rub it across my
oh
body,
no.
but like so that was my first. And then like that and brain fog. Like
Oh,
I would notice I would go to cook, and if I did not stay in that kitchen, oh yeah, no, I totally forgot I was cooking.
oh.
It didn't hit the brain at all. I like forgot passwords to my phone. Like it was just
Oh,
the brain fog and the hot flashes were probably
yeah.
like the two main like things that were like, oh, okay, this is
Yeah.
gonna be interesting.
It's a little frightening at the beginning, isn't it?
It was, and like I guess the muscle pain and
Yeah.
tension, that, and then like as things progressed, so once I felt like I hit the physical first, and then it was just like the mental, and once I got into the mental, that's where things got to me almost like scary. Like I started not wanting to drive. I was scared to go back to work. Like I had all these like things coming into my brain, and it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this is weird.
So,
Why am I scared to go back to work? Like, what the heck? So I found that part very scary, and then like some of the brain fog was very scary because I'm like, I hope this is brain fog, and I'm not just not like literally losing my bananas and my brain
yeah.
cells.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know some women, they try to hide their brain fog because they think that, their family is going to think it's either dementia or something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah,
But it really isn't. I mean, it's just your whole body is just adjusting,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah. Oh, wow. So what were some of the other symptoms, and how did you really handle that, like with raising your son and
Oh, so like I found, like I said, the first month I felt great, and then it was just like the first, like after that, the second and third month, I really the mental part really set in, and I was getting that like the depression, and then so it was nice when I went in to see my doctor at one point, and it was like the best way to explain it is like you've the oh dear Lord, I'm gonna lose the words here.
that's okay.
After you have a baby, like the postpartum
Oh, yeah.
depression, he's like,
Yeah.
it's just like that. He's like, the depression that comes on it is so strong. And he was like, especially with you just going right into it, it's not a gradual. He was like, you're just so like instant that the depression came on so hard. And with my son being like older, like in like 18, 19, it was nice to I could be honest with him of like I'm actually really struggling with like my health, my mental health with all of these changes.
Yeah.
I think the most part that I struggle the most with him is like the irritable, like just being instant angry or something just like set me off or whatever.
Yeah.
That's been, but I think being honest with myself and
Yeah.
being honest with the people around me, and also like doing my research about menopause, like
Um,
so that it eases my brain of like these are normal things
yeah.
and stuff like that. I think some of the most struggle is just people not understanding what menopause can do to a woman.
Yeah.
I think is one of the hardest things
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's like what they don't understand, what they don't see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've just really been using honesty with my son of like I'm just not having a good day, or when I was like really depressed, I told him I was like I need some extra help because I'm just not feeling life.
Yeah.
And just not making it as bad as it is in my head, but just also kind of just letting them know. And like me and my mom with our relationship, I had to really be honest with her of like good days and bad days, like because
Yeah.
she has PTSD.
Oh my.
So she's got her own stuff and whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it was just being honest so that nobody was triggering somebody and like on those, and just being gentle
Yeah.
of
Wow.
going through it and being like, this isn't forever. Like at first it was like, how am I going to get back to work? How am I going to do this? But it's almost like bittersweet. It gave me the time to think about what do I really want in life? What's going to work
Yeah.
for me and stuff. So it shaped my whole brand new path that I'm on as well too.
Oh, that's great.
Sweet things out of it. Got to find the bittersweet things.
Oh my, that takes a strong woman to say, like going through that at such a young age,
Yeah.
raising a son, and you have your relationship with your mom, and but yet knowing you have to look at the positive side.
Yeah.
Like, wow, kudos to
Well, and I
you.
found too, like, coupled that with like, I've just found out that I have ADHD. So,
Mhm.
like, working those in together too, because, like, especially with the brain fog,
Yeah,
that just really was like bumping heads with each other. It was just like, it's
yeah,
either bumping heads or like holding hand in hand, skipping down the street.
yeah,
So, yeah, just like, I found really learning about yourself
yeah.
and learning about menopause, and then like if you have other stuff, right? We all have
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
going on in our
We all
lives.
have a pile of stuff. Yeah, it's an adventure. I mean, you think, you're trucking down life and it's one thing after another, and then you throw in a good dose of menopause and it's what's going on?
Yeah.
You know.
And it really scared me to go back because I'm going back to school. I start on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Oh,
Thursday,
nice.
and I was really like scared to go back to school. It was like, is my brain gonna be able to handle this? And I really had to like do that self-talk of like, that's just my anxiety and my fears and all that. That's not real. Like just because I have some brain fog and I have this and that, it doesn't mean I can't do hard things.
Yeah.
Because yeah, at first it was like, well, what is my life going to become? Because like I'm scared of the world now. Like it took me probably over a month after surgery to drive,
Oh,
which is
wow.
just for
Yeah.
me, like in the summer before, I was driving back and forth to BC and stuff. So it
Yeah.
was just like, and now I'm scared of driving. And it was weird. It was to tell people that I was like, well, I'm not scared of driving, but like I'm scared of driving in a way and I have no want to drive like at all.
Yeah.
Like it was just
Yeah.
weird. It was weird
Well,
to
yeah.
explain that to people.
Yeah, you're not alone. Trust me, I've gone through that myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something about just because of the anxiety and then all the like the fear of the stage you're in and like all these unanswered questions creates that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and because that's our way of getting out, that's where the fear comes in.
Yeah.
It just kind
Yeah,
of
for
plays.
sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. Good for you for being so strong through it all. You're just one step forward, right?
I learned a lot with my journey with my anxiety and my ADHD and
Yeah.
like just being brutally honest with myself about that stuff too. I think
Yeah.
also kind of helped me with the menopause journey because I was a little bit of like, well, you got to be some honesty with yourself and
Yeah.
do the research and find out what works for you and what doesn't. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, in your research, so what do you do to help yourself? Like, do you go on any supplements or do you practice any like yoga or meditation or
Funny thing is like, so when I had my surgery, going into surgery, I was like, because I hate taking pharmaceutical stuff.
yeah,
It's just, I hate it, right? I try to be as natural and whatever
yeah,
as possible. So I was like, I'm not taking hormones. It's not happening. I'm going to battle this my own. Like, I will make it through. Well, coming to like a month after, I was like starting to not feel so great, and
yeah,
the depression started coming in. It was like, oh, okay. When my doctor was like, well, are you ready to try some hormone therapy? And it was like, okay, yeah, you know what? I am. And I'm definitely glad I did because as a young woman and just even like my hot flashes were just like amazing. Like
yeah.
I just called it puddle sleeping. Like I
Oh
would
my
just
goodness, yeah. Yeah.
like wake up and I'm just a puddle and I'm like, this
Yeah.
is great. Dogs that sleep in my bed, I've got dog hair stuck to me and it's just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So that really subsided that, which like I feel like if I was in a romantic relationship,
Mhm.
that would have been a very big deal. But I
Yeah.
was a single lady and it already bothered me, so I couldn't imagine how it would have bothered me if I was in a relationship. So
Yeah.
I was definitely glad that I took the bullet and like he knows that I don't like a bunch of medication. So we started off with the low dose. That didn't go very well. So we kind of like mid dose. We're meeting in the middle
Yeah.
because he wanted me to have absolutely no symptoms with these. And I was like, well, that to me is just
Yeah.
unnatural because like of course I'm going to have things because my body's going through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So we've kind of met in the middle on that and then I've really kept up with like the stretching
Okay.
and like trying to get into like yoga and different things. Big one is stretching. I try to at least keep that going because I find that really helps with the soreness of the body. Like
Yeah.
just waking up and you feel like you've already worked out and you're like, why am I so sore? And I
Yeah.
know that's a menopause thing, so I know that just like stretching out those muscles and keeping that flow and flexibility is going to help. Even though
Yeah.
some days I'm like, I really don't want to do this. Like my body is so incredibly sore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what my friend in premenopause was saying too.
Oh,
That
really?
was one of her first symptoms was like the soreness. She was like, my body is so sore. She's like, I feel like I'm 70 or 80
Yeah.
years old. I'm like, yeah, like some days, holy Hannah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not one to take a bunch of like pain meds. So it
Yeah.
was like, well, what's going to help me with this? So I've really done that and soaking
Yeah.
in the bath with Epsom salts and
Oh, that's a good one,
all
eh?
that. And then sometimes you just have to like mind over matter.
Yeah. A
Hard as that
mindset.
is.
Yeah, we're constantly figuring it, whether it's a mindset or looking at soaking in the tub or taking supplements or, just
Yep,
staying away from people temporarily while you're dealing with
yep,
things or turning off the
yep.
phone and like
Well,
it,
and I found also giving my grace of like there was days I was so tired and exhausted and sore and it was just like I felt bad for taking just like doing nothing that day or maybe staying longer in
yeah,
bed than normal or just
yeah,
having a bed day or whatever. And it was like I felt so bad and it was like, you know what? I'm not doing this every day. So
yeah,
it's not a bad thing to like I'm going through changes. My body's going through changes. I need to acknowledge that and like my
yeah.
body's tired.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
let it be tired and let it just shut down for a day. That's okay. And I think even especially as women, we're so go, go, go. We need to be doing this, especially if
Yeah,
we have children too, right? We're just like always doing something. So to be able to shut down and actually not do something and
yeah,
tell our brains it's okay to do that without any guilt, it's
right.
hard, but I think it's needed because yeah, there were some days where I just needed to recharge in bed. I just
Yeah,
needed to, whether I was sleeping or not, because the
yeah.
insomnia was real too before I got on
Oh,
the medication. I was just like, because I already have insomnia issues. So then when my doctor was talking about that, I was just
yeah.
like, I laughed at him. I was like, well, I have insomnia as it is. Never mind, like, I feel like I don't sleep, man. So he was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's just, no.
Oh man. That's a topic all in itself, eh? I mean, the
Right? Well,
lack
and
of
like I always
sleep.
say to people, it is a journey. Like, it's not just like, it's a medical change that somebody may go through like quickly or something. It's not, there's nothing quick about it.
Yeah.
It's a whole journey all on its own.
Oh yeah. I mean you're having hot flashes in bed when you're trying to sleep, and then you finally get to sleep and poof, there's another one. It doesn't end.
Yeah, and you could like sometimes you could just feel them coming on, especially during the day. Like I was cleaning my friend's house and whatever, and I'm like going along, and I'm like, I'm cleaning away, and I'm like, as I'm cleaning, I'm peeling off layers, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a hot flash. It's just like I always make sure I have extra layers because oh
Yeah.
dear Lord, you're either soaking through them or you need extra layers to be able to change your temperature here.
Yeah. I never thought wearing
Kind
a
of like
tank shirt.
Alberta. Like Alberta, you can have all seasons in one day.
Oh,
That is menopause. Menopause is Alberta
yeah, right?
on drugs.
Yeah. No kidding. It's like, okay, so you get 20-degree weather, then you get rain, and then it goes right down. We get a tornado, but that's all lumped into menopause.
Yeah,
It's
right?
unbelievable. Totally.
It's got a drinking problem,
Yeah.
menopause does. Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, yeah, it's something else. Um, so what is a go-to remedy for your hot flashes then?
Say when you're out about, like layers, like
Yeah,
having, whether you're wearing layers or have like a shirt with you that's when you're feeling hot and you can't just go down to your skimpies.
yeah,
Like I have definitely stood in the middle of my house where there's no windows, just
yeah,
topless, and I'm like, okay, like come on.
yeah,
Woo! I have to get out of bed when I have them in bed.
yeah,
I find like it's like a reoccurring cycle if I stay in bed, but I find if I get up, it's like sometimes it almost like I find they're worse at night when you're wanting to sleep and be all lazy and whatever. So which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like it kind of is like, oh, I'm busy. I don't have time to have a hot flash. Even though you can have it when you're busy and during the day, but I just find nighttime for me is like really bad. So I find I can't stay in bed when I have a hot flash. And like, I don't know, you always hear about ladies in menopause and your fans, and that's a
Oh
real
yeah.
thing. Like, get a
Yeah.
freaking fan.
Yeah.
You feel like you're hitting menopause or you're gonna go on medically induced menopause, get yourself a fan.
And not the little ones either. You need the
No.
industrial size.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the ones you see in an airport that
But it's definitely good to have on hand for sure.
oh man. Yeah, I tell you. I mean, it could be minus 50 out and I'll be in a tank shirt. Like I just,
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is.
Being like that too. Like we always used to laugh about how like in the wintertime you could see your breath in my mom's house because she was always so hot.
Yeah.
And through her menopause, it was just crank that up even more. So yeah, it was that was the joke in the house is you could see your breath in mom's house.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go for a sleepover, you better have your sweater and your
Yeah.
like your nighttime booties and
Oh wow.
yeah.
Ah, so with what you've been through and what you've learned, and what type of advice would you give another woman your age that's just going through what you did?
I'd say like it's always good to kind of research or nowadays there's like tiki talk where people make those funny jokes about menopause, but those are nice to watch because that is the reality of it. And the reality is you have to find like the happiness through all of these changes because holy moly.
Yeah.
And like I guess I knew, like, I kind of did the research before. I knew that it was going to be hard. I talked to other women that went through stuff. So I had, like, all these, like, different advices and stuff in my head. But it honestly did not put what going through actually
Yeah.
went, like, what it does to you. Like, I feel like you can't really, you can prepare yourself, but you can't.
Yeah.
So, like, to be kind and to be honest with the people around you, like, I feel like if I wasn't able to be honest with him with
Yeah.
some things, he probably would have thought his mom is going bat poop
Oh,
crazy and like, wow, she's just a cranky old lady and she yells at me for everything. And like, I just could imagine the things that people would have thought in their own brain. Like, you don't really know what menopause is like even my one friend that's around my age, she hasn't started it, so she doesn't understand any of the like anything that I'm going through.
right.
But it's like I can be open with her.
Yeah.
Like she can, and she's always like, well, thank you. She's like, at least I know what I'm getting myself into. That is the thing, no matter what, every woman's going to go through this. Like, whether you're medically induced into it, you get through it naturally. Like, it's coming. So I
Yeah.
feel like, and I honestly feel like it needs to be more talked about. I feel like the world
Absolutely.
needs to be more out there about what it does to a woman because I was at a crossroad in my life. So I was actually just ending a job as I was getting my surgery.
Hmm.
But I always think about how would I have navigated that if I had my job? And like, I honestly don't think it would have been very well.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
straight up honest, because it was to do with like also helping people
Yeah.
and being like vulnerable people and stuff. And like, I just don't think I would have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, at least you
just
know what, you were
too
honest
young,
with
I
yourself,
guess.
right? And that's important
Yeah, like
too.
I've I wish it was a more talked about thing because yeah, to like my advice to other women is like you can go and look up and all that stuff and be as prepared as possible.
Mhm.
But there's just so many changes that you cannot prepare yourself, and everybody's journey is different. So, like,
Yeah.
what I've gone through and what other ladies have gone through doesn't mean it's going to happen to that person, but they could go through so many other things with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I loved the fact that most women with menopause are very like honest with each other. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
I remember saying to my neighbor, I was like, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm like 2 years old again. I peed my pants. I don't know how many times I've shit my pants." And like that was great. I was like, "How would I go to work when I'm peeing my pants and I'm pooping my pants?" I'm like, "Oh my God, this is horrible." And I was just like, and she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "It takes a while for those things to kind of come back." And I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's just horrible." Like, it's like when you have children and you're like, "Oh, if, most of the time when you push out a baby, you
Yeah.
might poop a little."
Well,
Like you
yeah.
always hear women say that, and it's always like, "Oh my God." And you always, when you go to have one, you're like, "Please don't poop. I don't
But
want
yeah,
to poop. I don't want to poop on my child." But it was just like, that is also a real thing that some women deal with, is like
yeah.
getting those muscles back and stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I could not believe it. I told my mom that the one time. I was like, "Oh, I was just laying in bed, thought it was
Yeah.
a tooth. All of a sudden, I'm holding my butt." And I'm like, "Wow, I'm changed my pants and everything. Here we go. Thank God I have an attached bathroom."
Yeah.
That would have been embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh, there's just so
There
much.
are some brutal, embarrassing things that can come along with
Oh,
menopause.
the list is as long as the block I live on. Like it's just unbelievable.
Put myself and peeing myself. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just when you think you don't have to buy pads anymore. And you graduated to the old depends, right?
Gosh. Yeah, there's some funniness of menopause for sure.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
you
where I
gotta
say you
have
gotta find
humor.
like you gotta like just laugh at some things, because if you
Oh,
can't laugh at them, like it's just depressing, right? It was just
right.
like, well, you might as well laugh about it because yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah. And you're right. You know what? We all go through some form of menopause,
Yeah,
right? If you're not
yeah,
feeling it physically, you may feel it mentally, you may like emotionally and
yeah.
all every different way. And it's important for young women to understand that. Like back in the day, there were some women that are thinking, or young women that would think, I'm not going to go through that.
Yep.
But surprise,
Yeah, right.
you know,
And that is one thing I think with it not being talked about enough is like
yeah,
it is almost downplayed
yes,
too much, because it is such a change in the body and the mind and like so many things. It's not just, like I said, it's not just a quick little medical thing or whatever. Like it
yeah,
is a huge change for women. And like I know my cousin that I talked to that got a medically induced one, like she said, like it was painful for her after and stuff like that, like different things. And so it's so different for everybody.
oh yeah,
It's just, yeah, it's
it's
that, and like
always,
that's just like crazy about it. And it's like it's not, I have yet to find anybody that's gone through menopause where they say like it's just been a subtle change.
yeah,
I've Anybody I've ever talked to, whether it's pre-menopause, like slowly going into it, or medical induced, they're like, "Holy wow, I wish like it was talked about more on like the mental part and what it actually
yeah,
does to you and stuff like that." Because a lot of ladies I talked to with the medically induced, like they had a lot of the mental of, I can't have a baby anymore. And I was totally done with that. So I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to go through all this mental stuff." That's what I had in my brain, because that's where most people were like, that's where the mental part comes in. Nowhere did it talk really about the depression and like the type of depression that comes with it. So that like flabbergasted me, because I was like, "Oh my God, like what's wrong with me? Like,
yeah.
why am I taking it so hard?" And then I was just like, because I had in my brain, I was like, "Well, I've never wanted more children. So why is this messing me up so much?" But no, there's like a whole range of stuff that it does to your brain.
Oh, absolutely. I
For
agree.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always say, like to my family, I just say, just keep writing it all down because you'll need it for when you get older.
Right?
Like
Yeah,
my
totally.
daughter. you know, my husband, I'm just like, just keep it in the back of your mind. This is just menopause. You
Yeah,
know?
and they say that it can last like a while too. Like it's not
Yeah.
just a few years. Like some people have gone through it for like
Yeah.
10 or plus years. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just it's mind blowing.
my 12th year.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
just it's amazing what it does to you like for that many years.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You get used to it, but then you get tired of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
But
get
you
really
know,
tired of like the angriness. That's like the part that really bothers me the most is the anger.
yeah.
Is like I wish I could control about how it like comes up so fast and stuff. Like I was out there one morning at 7:30 in the morning because my son didn't tarp down the trailer like I wanted him to, and I woke up and it was raining, and here I am all huffing puffing. I'm out there with the ladder tarping thing. Like just how ridiculous.
Yeah.
How calm down there, mom. Calm
Yeah.
down.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? Guess what? This has been lovely talking to you, and it has been the end of our little journey here with menopause.
Awesome. Oh, I did
Yeah.
have to because you had this on there, and I did have to put this out there. You
Okay,
had
yes.
if Menopause was a
Um,
superhero, who would it
yeah.
be? And one of my things, I had to put this out this because I really thought about this and I changed it a few times, and I was like, it is like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Hulk smash. You know, Hulk is very good. He wants to do good. He wants to only hurt the bad guys and all that stuff. Menopause is like that. It's like Hulk smash.
Yeah.
And then you smash on somebody you don't want to, and you're like, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
That was meant for that villain, not you. You're not a villain. But it, right? Because the Hulk, they still have to watch him with like their group because he can get mad at them too. So they have to be careful. That's our families with us. I'm like, yeah. So there you go. It's the Hulk.
It's the Hulk.
Smash.
Awesome. What a great way to sign off. Menopause is equivalent to the Hulk, everybody.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley. It's been lovely having you here. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Okay, I hope you have a lovely day.
You as well. See
Okay,
you
thank
later.
you.
Thank you for joining us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.